All right. Happy Monday, everybody. It's your girl, Crystal, with Rolling Out's Reality Check, and I am back. I hope everybody had a amazing Thanksgiving. You guys know we are smack dab in the middle of cuffing season. And so we are here back with Ready to Love. They took a week off. And then they came back with a bang. We had the Friends episode, and joining me tonight is the man that was added to shake up things with the ladies. That didn't quite go the way some people were hoping it went, and so he's here with us tonight. Please help me welcome the very handsome Shawn Durham. Welcome, Shawn.
Hey, Crystal, how are you?
I am great. I am great. How was your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was great. I did cooking and hosted some people who were stragglers like me who can go home and threw down and we drank a lot, we ate a lot, and we had a good time.
That's what you're supposed to do. Now, you said that are stragglers. So where are you actually from if you're not from DC?
I've been in DC for 15 years, so this is my home. Like,
Okay.
when you've been here that long and pay taxes, I'm in the heart of the city. But I'm from originally Macon, Georgia, born and raised from there. Yes.
Okay. So you're from right up the street from us. We're here in Atlanta. So you're a
Okay.
Southern boy at heart. Okay.
Yes. And if you saw how I cooked, you'd feel that way. I had wings. I had dressing that wasn't dry. I had collard greens with some meat in it. I got down. So if I'm
Okay.
late, we all got full and got stupid. So it was a good
That's
time.
what's up. That is what's up. Well, like I said, you were thrown in on Ready to Love this season as the wild card. And
Yes.
things went a little different than we thought. Initially, I was trying to find the clip of when they brought you guys out. You all are you showed them off the chocolate, the pecs, and all that good stuff. What were you thinking, or did you sign up to be on the season initially, or did they reach out and tell you that they wanted you to come on after the season was already underway?
No, Crystal. I'm glad you asked that question. I think I chose to come into the middle of this process. If I had my druthers, I would like to have met everyone in the group settings, so I could have gotten in on those initial connections that people made. But it didn't
Mhm.
happen. But I did appreciate the little bit of shine that I got. The producers. I went through the casting process like everyone else, and the producer said, "Hey, would what do you think about the middle? We're thinking about having you be one of two ringers. Of course, Sydney was the other ringer. That's what they call them, ringers. People who come in the middle of the process and and see how everyone reacts to you being in the process as well." So I said, okay, if you think that's cool and you think I do well in that bit, let's go for it. But either way, I accepted whatever role they gave me because I wanted to be a part of the cast and I wanted to vet singles like everybody else.
Okay. Now, what led you to the show? I always ask people this. Well, first let me ask you this. Sean, do you think that you're ready to love?
Yes, and I have a it's funny that I have friends text me after the fact talking about all people who don't seem ready to love, who still are there, but said a 44-year-old, no child, happy entrepreneur who takes things seriously, but also lives life with fun and zeal, is not ready to love. So I don't want people to take the title of the show too seriously. I mean, that's just what they do, but it's ready to love. And I don't want to be 4 or 64 in the same predicament.
Hmm.
But to answer your initial question, what brought me to the show is I'm single, and I've been single for a while. And also, and this is something I told the people behind the show and everything. I had a lost decade, basically. I lost a friend and a father within a 6 month period, and I didn't think that would affect me. And grief affects people different ways. I was on the level with everything, but sure enough, I started to find myself doing things that were out of character, out of sorts. And when you, at the age of 33, what people call that Jesus year, from
Hmm.
33 to like 41, 42, 43, and you're still looking up and you're single, and you've had relationships, and I've had relationships with great women, and you've not made those connections, it took something for me to look deep down inside. And so I made those uh, those look-ins into myself, and I said I want to be on this show because it's an
Mhm.
opportunity to meet some people that maybe I haven't met before. And now that I'm ready, completely ready on a social level, on a mental level, after I've dealt with grief, on a financial level, I'm ready to love and be with someone because I feel worthiness inside of me.
Mhm.
And that brought me to the show. Also, in my professional life, I do things like host speed dating events.
Okay.
I host speed dating. I've written about things from a male perspective, and I wanted to like get myself inside of a process like this to just sort of see what this would be like instead of me going through in true situations. So
Yeah.
um, I've been talking about things like this, so why not get involved with it? So that's
Be
why I
on the
was
other
on the
side.
show.
Why
Be
not
on
be
the
on
other
the
side. Why not be one of the lab rats or what have you, and see if anything jibes. Especially since you host these events, you talk about guys' issues when you write things, and I've written books about this stuff. So yeah, why not get in?
Well, there's an African proverb that says, "Physician, heal thyself," that I like a lot. It's like, the same thing that you do for other people. Sometimes it's hard to turn that around and apply that to yourself. So let me ask you this, before we get into your experience, because there's a lot of questions about that. What do you think that you saw? What were you doing during that time off? Because that's very aware to know that you were dealing with grief. You were in it. You were unable to really give emotionally at that time. What did you do to get yourself healthy and to kind of deal with that during that 10 year off, during that decade off from
What I
really
call the lost decade. What was I doing? Well, the first thing you got to do is get outside of yourself and
having?
really real see what other people are saying. And I
Yeah.
think no matter whether you're a male or female or women, I think people are so guilty of thinking that they have things together that they don't look outside of themselves and they got going on.
Mm-hmm.
And there was just a moment of like, all right, outside looking in, every holiday I'm not with someone. Every birthday I don't have someone.
Mm-hmm.
I may have some people in my life, but it's transactional, not transcendent. And
Mm-hmm.
so, because of those things, you just start to make an accounting and hold yourself accountable. You're looking at your bank account. You're like, okay, I'm not happy here. I'm not happy in this other piece. And it's like, what is wrong? And the answer has to be you somewhere in the equation. And
It
so
has to be.
I took my ego out of it. So many people put their
Okay.
egos into it, and I took my ego out of it, and I looked at myself and I'm like, this is not where I want to be, and this is not where I thought I would be, and therefore, you do the work, and the work is take off the veneers of the clothes and the looks and the attitude and really look at yourself without all the cosmetic stuff that makes you feel good temporarily.
Yeah.
And that's what I
Yeah.
did.
Okay.
I'm also
Well,
from Georgia, and people in Georgia would tell you that you sound second. So I ain't have no problem with getting that message.
we're doing that. I think. Can you take your ear headphones out?
I
Let's see it.
could.
Let's see what happens if you take your headphones out.
Well, let me
If
ask
you,
you, since I got the earbud, do you want me to just talk to you without the earbuds?
I think that sounds better.
You want to try
Honestly.
that?
Yeah. Let's
All right,
try
let's
that.
see. Let's see.
Yeah. Let's see what
I,
happens.
I'll turn it off.
Yeah. I think that's going to be better.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes. 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 That's way better. Okay.
It's funny. They tell us to like use ear things and all that stuff, but
Usually they do. I just, technology is weird, and I know that the audience is excited, and they're like, "We can't." The staticky, so that killed it. So we're good. So that's interesting. I always wonder. There are a lot of guys that are in that space where they're like very good at hosting and telling other men and doing that kind of thing. But it takes a very mature person to be able to look back at themselves and say, "Wait a minute. I can help other people, and I'm very good at, narrating this, but let me make sure that I'm present myself. So I commend you for actually being able to kind of see that. Now, one of the questions that came up, because we saw it said you were a journalist, you're obviously an author, you're hosting things. What do you actually do? Like, do you have a main gig? And then we know you have a lot of different hats that you wear as well.
No, my main gig is that I don't have a main gig. I'm
Okay.
an entrepreneur.
Gotcha. That is your main gig.
Yes,
You work.
I hunt what I eat. I do not have a main gig from 9 to 5, and then I do something on the side. I live what I do.
Gotcha.
And if I don't do it well, I don't eat or live in downtown DC, and I
Right.
can't afford rent. So I act, I write, I pitch things as an advertisement. I have 10 commercials locally going on in DC right now.
Okay.
I write plays. I've written a book. I host speed dating events. And I also I own a spice business that I sell at expos.
Nice. Very nice.
Yes.
That Southern cooking is with the spices. I'm not mad at that.
So when I said I was a Shawntrepreneur, it was a cute little soundbite, but they left out the stuff where I actually give you the commas that I do.
Right.
But I did give them an actual title, and that's mass media artist, because a lot of my money is earned by working in the arts. Be it the writing or using my face or my voice for voiceovers and for commercials and things like that, or for emceeing. So I'm a mass media artist. But long and short, I have all these different silos, and I earn a check. And trust me, Uncle Sam knows what I do.
Well, if he doesn't after going on the show, he'll definitely be looking for you.
He'll be looking right now.
Absolutely. So, okay. Well, let me ask you before we move on to that. How do women respond to that? I mean, finances and stability, or how people are going to, that became obviously a conversation point with your storyline. We've seen it in storylines in the past with women saying, what do you do? How much do you make? How much have you saved? What do you find in dating women just outside of television? Do women have a problem with entrepreneurship or not really, or stability? What's been that response?
Well, the other adage, since we were throwing around adages earlier, is proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
And the proof is when you see me, you see how I dress, act, comport myself. You come to the places I live and where I hang out. And when I take care of your bill, you usually don't ask too many questions, especially when you see me on TV in your market pitching home improvement products or pitching the National Harbor when you're at the harbor. Like, I literally looked up one time and a woman saw me do those sorts of things. I understand when some women say that it feels unstable to do what I do, but I have a client list.
Yeah.
I've paid my stripes to get to where I am.
Right.
I'm no deadbeat. And if anyone has questions as to what a creative is or does, because a creative is a noun in the 21st century. It's not just an adjective. If you have a question, just ask a follow-up question. It's as simple as that. And then just see. So I thought it was really hilarious that and unfortunate that because the show knows the order and sequence of how people are getting eliminated, there may have been some fun edits done to make it seem like I was some trippy dippy deadbeat that didn't have the education that I clearly have, didn't have the wherewithal, or didn't have the ability to afford a place in downtown DC. And so that piece, if you don't believe me, then fine. But my credit is great, and we could have that conversation. My finances are great because I'm debt free, and I'm thriving, actually doing what I say I do. So many people say that they do certain things. I'm actually doing it on a daily basis.
The proof is in the pudding. Eventually, at this age, if someone tells you something, you should be able to see if they really are or not. And of course, we saw small snapshots, and so we don't get a chance to see the full picture. I'm going to play this clip because this clip had it caused a lot of conversation. This is the clip that is you with Sabrina and her friends, and then we'll talk about this clip right after we watch it. Let's check this out.
This is Shawn.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Shawn.
Hello, Shawn.
These are all my friends from 20 years ago to now.
20 years ago. You all look lovely.
I got some fly friends, so.
What is your ideal woman?
A woman who's career-oriented. She knows what she wants. She has style, sophistication, and she has feminine wiles, and she is maternal. So that's a lot of things. Some people would say in the old school days, that would be Claire Huxtable. Can I have an amen moment?
So are you in a position to be a provider right now, where you are in life?
I'm good enough to take care of a bill or two, hopefully all the bills.
Oh, it was kind of awkward. You know what? I can't save nobody that keep digging a deeper hole for themselves.
How many women have you made connections with?
2.
And how strong are those connections?
Probably not as strong as with her.
Probably.
Yeah, that was painful to watch.
Trust me, especially when there were so many things taken out of context in the whole thing. But we can get into that a little bit.
So let's start with I'm gonna start with the definition of a woman. And I we talk about this on this channel a lot because obviously most of the viewers are women and we talk about issues with Black women. But when we hear a man say that he wants a woman that's career driven and maternal and all these different things, it is, I mean, realistically, that is, a lot of us are those things, but that is, it is a tall order. And then we think of Claire Huxtable, which, she was all of those things, but she also had an amazing, there was a Cliff Huxtable. So it was easy to be Claire Huxtable because there was a Cliff Huxtable. And I think a lot of us, I grew up thinking that was the ideal woman, but in many of our houses, I'll say mine included, there wasn't a Cliff Huxtable to offset that. Working, thriving, looking good, taking care of the kids, doing all. I mean, that's a lot. So I wondered. The first thing I thought when I heard you say that you wanted a Claire Huxtable is like, does he see himself as a Cliff Huxtable to be able to offer that type of balance?
Well, first things first, and I love Cliff Huxtable and Claire Huxtable, Bill Cosby excluded, but I grew up with a Joe Durham. And my Joe Durham also worked alongside Julia Durham, his high school sweetheart. Nice. Raised children, were together for 50 years until he died.
Nice.
And they were each other's best friend. So when I say these things, we always saw Cliff and Claire as a scholastic version of Joe and Julia. Because my father was the barber, my mother was the beautician. Nice. My mother was still maternal, but she didn't take no stuff. And my dad wasn't like kitchen in the bedroom. He wasn't James Evans. So a lot of those things were said. It's unfortunate that the edits don't allow for you to get that gist. I know that, and I understand what you said about there's a tall order for women when women hear certain things like that. But imagine being a man and having the tall orders thrust upon him. Yeah. And who I want to be is my father, who worked hard, provided for 6 children, 6 living children. And we wanted for nothing, put us all through school, gave us great clothes. We had a nice house, and he filled up the gas tank. And that's the type of father I want to be and the type of husband I want to be. So it's not about putting all these things on women or saying that I'm Cliff Huxtable. I just said I wanted Claire. My answer had nothing to do with Cliff. Or, I'm trying to date Cliff. I'm trying to date Claire. So I can understand that. And the question of whether I'm a provider and all that stuff, I thought that was taken out of context because what was cut out, and we recently filmed something that had a different clip that tells you what the first part of that was. I will give her whatever I have. As we matriculate going forward, I will pick up a bill or two, which was kind of sarcasm, like when Mariah Carey's asked, does she do karaoke? I can sing a note or two. Yes, I can pick up a bill or two. I'm not about to just give you my rap sheet right now of all my finances, but yes, I can do those things. So it is, again, unfortunate that that's what they wanted to show, but because there was already a narrative that they wanted to paint to make it more assuageable to get rid of me, or not, I won't say get rid of, or to see that my elimination wouldn't hurt some feelings or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. But I don't take anything back from what I said, because I'm looking for a woman who doesn't just want to be up under my armpit. I
Right.
want to have her own things and ideas and interests. But yet
Mm-hmm.
we're best friends and we work together because relationships are about relating. And it's not just about one person's thing. And
Yeah.
I don't know how that came off in television. I just know it was cringy because the omissions make for a different interpretation. And I have no
Absolutely.
control over that. So
That's
it is
true.
what it is.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's
Mhm.
true. I wondered, and we're watching this and we understand editing plays a huge part of that. But I wondered after the conversation that you had with Sabrina prior, why they even scheduled you to come and talk to her friends. Because to me, one of the things that we've seen this season, which I think is great that they're showing this, is that there are a lot of singles that may be at a similar age, but are at different places in their life, meaning one person's ready to have children and another person is like, I'm done with that. So to me, that kind of signified that you guys weren't really compatible, because you've made it clear, which I think is great, that you still are open and desire to have children. So did you?
Well, Crystal, you ask a fantastic question. I don't have the answer.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think, I'm not a producer on the show, but if you're going to bring people into the middle of the process, they shouldn't be able to meet your friends. Period. Not that soon. Everyone else can meet your friends. Maybe you have a friend by or something.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't. I was still trying to make those connections with people.
Yeah.
It was different for Sydney because Sydney was on the women's side and she could get her friends to ask frank questions.
Right.
The guy side, and I'm trying to keep up because maybe some of the women don't want to talk to me because they're trying to hold on to the few connections they have because I'm dropped into the middle of the process. So
Yeah.
it was a little bit different for me to navigate that. You'll have
Yeah.
to ask some of the people behind the scenes why they did it. Just a little bit behind the curtain. My first date with Sabrina was 13 hours before that friend date.
Oh, wow.
So
Yikes.
the conversation we had, and there was a space of a week because we had the bye week or the off week. The conversation that feels like 2 weeks in the time of people watching it,
It
was
just happened.
less than half a day.
Less than a day. Wow.
And that's not, that's the process and that's the speed they wanted to go to. But I also have my own process, and I thought it was important. I didn't think I did anything wrong. I thought I was just expressing what I wanted.
Yeah, I don't think there is a right or wrong way. I agree with Fine China. That was a lot of friends. I think that was too many friends. I thought I was watching it,
I called it the Negro Inquisition, but they cut that.
It was a lot of friends. I think, and you guys let me know what you all think, but I definitely agree with you, Fine China. I think because that could be overwhelming for anybody.
Too, but I can't talk about all that. But yeah, there's other things going on. I don't think. First of all, I'll just say this real quick because I want to sort of address this stuff and then
move on from it. Mm-hmm.
But people who know my nature, I'm not mealy mouth or quiet. But I thought it was very important.
Quiet, and now you don't seem that way. So I was like, this is a different Shawn than we saw the entire series.
Well, I wasn't quiet then either. I asked questions because I am a former journalist and I was genuinely trying to make legit connections. I'm not just a piece of meat. I write books and I write books about these topics and I genuinely want to find somebody. But anyone who knows me knows that I am quick to scholastically, although I'll cuss them out, but it'll be scholastic. But I will scholastically cuss somebody out, especially strangers who don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Right.
But they wouldn't be that way or act that way if there wasn't some other encouragement or outside forces that may have goaded them to that. And so, those things get the moments that go. But what was important to me is that people are going to know that I'm Shawn Durham. I use my brain for a living, and that I am not going to give you an angry black man moment. Even if I defend myself a certain way, it could be cut up any kind of way. And I'm thankful to the producers and the people behind the scenes for putting me onto the show. But that left a bad taste in my mouth. And what I knew, because I have been on camera before and I've done things with television, is that I do not control that editing button.
You don't control the editing.
So I'm not going to give anyone any moments to piece together
that they can actually work with. Let me ask you this: there was a statement that you made about maybe not moving fast enough for this process. What was your experience? Because you seem to have a small connection with Tasia from what we saw, or at least you seem to appreciate. Now it makes sense why you appreciate her Southern charm. What was the process for you when you got there? Was there people that you were wanting to reach out to that you didn't have a chance to? What was that? What was behind that statement of maybe I didn't move fast enough for this process?
Well, again, what you see on TV is decompressed. Like the whole fact that I had a first date with Sabrina and now I'm meeting her friends 13 hours later on a first date. That should never happen.
Every single friend from
every single friend from every
from years
of her 46 years, right?
That was
46 years.
Like, yeah.
What the hell? This is the Negro division for real. But I also say I felt like I was like at a disadvantage because I was told one thing and I dressed just to be cool. I didn't have my contacts because I was on my last pair, so I didn't feel sexy or whatever. I dressed like an 80s lesbian comic, like it was just, I look like Ellen DeGeneres out there, so whatever. But it is what it is. But I just felt like it was not set up for me to have success.
Right.
But with that said, as far as moving fast, yes, the process moves fast, and I'm a speed dating host.
Right.
And,
so you got to get in. You got to get
aware of bam, bam, bam. But boy, it's like, okay, you got to be ready for this. You got to be ready for that. Nope, that's going to change. Now, can you go all the way to Tyson's Corner? Tyson's Corner is 4,000 miles away from here. But can you do it in 20 minutes? It's a lot of things going on. We don't necessarily have control of the situation.
Yeah.
We push out there who we're interested in. We can cultivate those interests.
Who did you push out there that you were interested in?
I didn't have many. I didn't have time to have many. Quite frankly, I did not. And I regret that I did not have the time to make those connections. But looking back, it's very possible that she just wasn't there.
Okay.
And
who did you put? But I'm still asking.
Well, my two connections, my 3 dates, was Aisha, Sabrina, Tasia. And after Aisha had a great, honest conversation, which is how you would think things would be received by anyone who tells you, "Oh, you're done with children? Well, I think I still want children."
Right.
That would be warmingly and lovingly, and I thought that was the same. I still had affections for Sabrina, and Tasia, she's young enough, and I liked her twang and her feistiness, and I wanted to know more about those women. And so that's pretty much all I had, because it seemed like the other half of the cast were not. I mean, I only had 1 day, and it was like a third of a day, really, at that pool party to make connections with everyone.
Okay.
After that, I didn't see anyone.
Could you have reached out to them? How does that? Could you have tried?
You could, but I will say this: how difficult would it be if you didn't get a chance, or for whatever reason, maybe Crystal was in the bathroom, and I'm trying to find Crystal to have a conversation with, and then we're moved on to something else, and now Crystal is talking with her connection, right? So the night ends, and now I just go up to someone and say, "Yes, give me Crystal's number, please." And Crystal would be like, "Who does this sucker think he is? Who is he, Prince? You just gonna start picking out people like that?" It's very inorganic, and I understand the show has its responsibilities and its needs, but I needed more time or more opportunity. But in the long and short of it, looking at what's been presented now for everyone, and getting to know a lot of the cast after the fact, because I made some great friendships and relationships, it's very possible that she wasn't there. And that's okay too.
Yeah. Did you learn? And I mean, you had a very short period of time on.
Yes.
But I want to ask you actually, what do you learn? What have you learned from doing speed dating about men and women and how they relate to each other? What have you learned from hosting speed dating events that you can share with people about the courtship process, or what is that? I don't know if it's not courtship yet. It's the introduction. Like, what have you learned about how men respond to women and women respond to men?
You know what's fascinating about speed dating? Let's relate it to something that's very popular amongst women, because there's some women who are like, I'll never do that.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think all those big parties at Bridgerton was? What do you think would the Duke of such and such wants to see the lady of the, what do you think that is? And it's the same thing. And what's fascinating though is that now women have more agency to say, screw this. So I'll see more guys, I'll see more repeat guys like, all right, we're gonna try this again. All right, cool, good to see you. And I will hardly see too many repeat women, because many women are like, you know what, I did that one time and I'm done with it.
We don't deal with rejection or things not going our way as well. I don't think.
Sometimes it's not rejection. Sometimes it's just like the snow globe didn't shake out and the flakes didn't fall like you wanted.
Yeah.
But I tell people you got to do it at least a couple of times, because there's 5-6 million people in the DMV area. And for an event that has 20 or 30 people, you're not going to get the best cross section every time, but there is a cross section and it's very fun. But what I do learn about speed dating, men are more optimistic and more, we will give this a shot, than women. Women are more closed-minded. Women are more judgmental until they actually relax, get a couple of drinks in them if they drink, and enjoy talking to different people. And so when I got into this process myself, I wanted to put myself into that, because some friends say, well, you ought to do ready love. I'm not going to do that. Well, you do speed dating and you single, right? Yeah. All right, let me try it. So I put myself into the process, right? And one thing I wanted to do was like, first make connections with people that I genuinely had a connection with. Not just who fits a bill or a look. And my 3 women, and possibly even like Courtney, I don't know if Courtney would even give me a date, but Courtney was gone by the time I had a chance to have a date. She was leaving as I was coming on. But my thing was that I wanted to like have conversations with women that I liked, at least have conversations with, because you want to make friends first. It may not be about who looks a certain way or what have you, but the 3 women that I started with were the 3 women who, first of all, were receptive to me. That's important. And secondly, I saw something in them that I'm like, okay, I want to pursue this further and find out more stuff. And that was me opening myself up to the process and being honest and open about things. And then the way dating should work is when you, after you've sifted through the firmament of being enamored with each other, after you get through that stuff, and after you persevere through that, now it's time to ask questions. Some people say, let's ask about finances. Okay, let's ask about finances. Well, what type of house do you want? Do you want children? Are you done with children? Or are you looking to work all your life? Because I'll tell you, even when you meet, and this is the other thing too, as a man, look, fellas, I'm going to tell you this real quick. A man needs to understand, no matter what your woman's station is in life, I'm talking to just the fellas here, she reserves the right to change her mind. So even if you find Claire Huxtable or Oprah Winfrey, you best believe it's possible that Olivia Pope type of sister got it going on chick who ain't hurting for nothing may want to stay at home. And you must be the backstop. Even if you think you Kevin Federline, you have to be able to provide. That's what the absurdity was of the whole conversation, because I've never lived my life thinking that a woman is going to take care of me. And if anything, I'm going to do all the utilitarian things that she thinks she can do or can do. But baby, you ain't got to do that.
Right.
And those are the conversations that you got to have after you are done with the being enamored with each other. Because when I'm 45 next week, when I'm 45, you can't be messing around with somebody who's still pussyfooting around about how you're going to live the rest of your life.
I like your words,
I got
Shawn.
a ton of them.
You are quite the wordsmith. I'm enjoying that. I'm a writer, so I appreciate that. But I'm like, oh, I like that. I like that word. So I'm just gonna. It felt like Tasia was a better match for you as far as compatibility. Do you wish that you had been able to go on that journey a little further? Because it seemed like both Aisha and Sabrina definitely are in different places in their lives, and the two of you all were, at least as far as the children, and she seemed receptive to you. So did you regret
Yes.
that?
I'm sorry. Yes, she checked some boxes. No, I adore Tasia. I really do. I just know the type of woman she is. Like, not that there's nothing to her. There's a lot to see us out for. And my thing is, first of all, like, the process happened so quickly. That's where Hallelujah came from. It's like, you know what? They set up a black man to look like a fool. And that's just my pride. That's what I felt. Like,
I don't think they made you look like a fool.
well, but there's a lot of misunderstandings that happened there. And I don't want to visit it, but that was not my personages. And also, just to hammer this home, I write about a man expressing what he wants, to not play games all the time. And I was chastised for telling a woman what I wanted. There was nothing malicious about that whole
Well, you should. Are you meaning you were chastised for saying that you wanted to still have children?
Yeah, ultimately, because the whole derivative of "I don't want to hurt you down the road," and
that was taken out. That was
taken out of context because, like,
we knew that was taken out of context. So the people in the chat got your back. We knew that was taken out of context because when you said that, I thought you did a great job of being very honest up front before you guys move forward. So I think you have to give the viewers a little credit because most of the viewers that watch Ready to Love are seasoned adults that understand some of that stuff. So I think what people were concerned about was the pay a bill or two, but I think everybody understood that if he still wants to have children, that is a decision that you should make. And you should be honest about that because that's not fair if the other person is not at that same place. So I appreciate and applaud the fact that you did that and you were upfront and honest about it. I think there was some mystique behind what does he do, and then is he saying, to me, when a man says, I want a woman that's career oriented and I may be able to pay a bill or two, suggests to me as a woman, you better be able to continue paying your bills yourself, girlfriend, because he ain't gonna be able to pick up on those.
And again, like I said, was the first part of that statement was, I will give her whatever I have.
Yeah, see, they took that out.
They took that out, and then
that is the part that we needed to. Yeah,
this guy
Shawn, we were focused in on that bill. That bill.
I know, and that's why they left it in. And that's why they omitted everything else out.
But I don't think they made you look like a fool. You still, now, I mean, this conversation I'm really enjoying. So we definitely didn't get to see the.
But I'm sorry, I don't want to. But I do want to be fair because you asked the question about Tasia.
Yeah,
Tasia and I still talk. Tasia and I still cool. And if anything were to blossom with any of my castmates, including Tasia or whomever, I now have the time outside of the televised universe to find it. And so there are no pressures because a lot of people start doing things because they feel the pressures of pleasing people behind the camera. And the funny thing is that I have more on-camera experience than anybody in that cast. And I know that I wasn't acting. Yeah. Which is the irony of the whole thing. Yeah. If I were acting, you would have seen me in this next episode.
Right. You stayed around. Well, I think people are trying to stay in front of the camera. So a lot of times we see people that do whatever it takes to stay on. But let me ask you this on another note, because there are people in the chat saying that they are your match. LA is saying that she is the match. What is Shawn's type? What are you besides Claire Huxtable? Because I think that's pretty much most men's type, or at least most men of a certain age type. What are you attracted to? What do you want in a partner at this point in your life?
So I said this one time, like I like Regina Hall.
She's beautiful, very beautiful.
She's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
So she doesn't just, I take her seriously because she doesn't take herself seriously. She can still be feminine and still let her hair down, tell these jokes about them fools over there, and even take away the kid or not kid piece. That's the type of woman I would love to be with. Now, on a more rudimentary level, we're talking about someone who is not following the crowd. Because I'll tell you this, here's the feeling that I had when I first got onto the scene, because I know who I am. Other people see this other exterior, whatever. But when I got onto the scene and I'm at that pool party, and when I'm trying to talk to people, it felt like my freshman year in college. And I had frats and sororities, frats and sorors over here.
Where did you go to college?
And I went to University of Georgia.
Okay.
They were all the Greeks and everybody else were there. But I had frats and sorors over here, and I had pretty girls and jocks over there. And then you just have me, this kid who skipped the second grade when he was young and was always out of place.
So that people are saying he's smart. He's got this model good looks, but he's got nerd smarts, and that's not a bad thing. And we see it's true. But you skipped the second grade. I skipped a grade too, so I feel
you. I see, and you're right. So we right.
Yep.
Are you taking? Is that what's going on? Are you interviewing me? Did you say I need to talk to Shawn just so?
No. I am married, but I got married. But I am.
I can see your husband. Who the hell is that who said?
This is a platform for matchmaking. So I do sometimes. It's funny because a couple of guys that have come on the show, I have friends or know, I do relationships. I talk to people all the time. And kind of like you were, and for a while I was doing that, being single, and I was like, this is kind of weird because I'm talking about relationships. I kind of look like a hypocrite, but God had something there that I just needed to wait for. But I do sometimes reach out and be like, hey, let me, just do a little matchmaking. So I do want to let you know I may hit you in your DM with, a young lady, but that I don't know how it would go. Oh, we're saying that you kind of have that smart intellect, yet very handsome, and often that doesn't go together. And so we love when it does.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. It didn't used to be an asset, but I guess I didn't look like I did because I just looked like a nerd. Now I look thin.
Took off them glasses.
But so wasn't it funny? The last episode is like a reduction to me turning back into what I was. Like I'm wearing the glasses, my eyes don't work. I'm wearing clothes that I don't feel comfortable in. It was just an irritable situation.
Did they put you in that outfit or what?
No. I did that. It was Saturday morning.
Okay.
Saturday morning. And,
okay.
And they got me up to go out to, it was like McLean, Virginia, super the hell far.
Okay.
Right? And it's like 9:30, 10 o'clock in the morning, and you find this stuff out. That's the other piece of it too. We don't set up all the dates.
Right. We picked up on that.
Yeah, you got to pick up on that because I think I would have known if I was walking into an ambush.
Yeah, no, we picked up on the fact that was not the case.
But yeah, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna. It's a Saturday hang. I'm gonna we decent bohemian folks do sometimes. I got my glasses, got my blazer, my t-shirt, and I wore a USB port for my necklace. That was a USB port.
That's that artistic vibe kind of coming through.
It was actually pretty stupid because it had something I was working on actually on it. I actually used it. It was pretty stupid. But anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. You got a question.
No, that's so I like what you said about a woman that obviously she's attractive but doesn't take herself too seriously. Mm-hmm. So she's
yes,
fun, down to earth. Any other specifics for women that may be trying to see if they would match up with you?
I love a woman who's confident enough to cut me down when my head is way up here,
I like that, Shawn.
but does not. But there's always a caveat.
Mhm.
But does not shiv you in the side to make herself look better.
Yeah.
You can insert any type of relationship on a famous level here. You
Mhm.
do that. I'm not saying that. But I believe that we support each other, we love each other, and you believe in that black man, and I
Yeah.
believe in this black woman, and
Yeah.
it's us against the world. It ain't about your girlfriends, it ain't about the fellas. And here's the other thing too. I'm old school. I don't
Mhm.
come from the generation where my mom and dad were always out with other people. They were home most of the time with us.
With each other. Yeah. And with each
Or if there was a vacation, it's with us as well.
other.
And if
Right.
my mom was away from my dad would be calling like, well, all right, well, when you coming home? And the same thing with my mom.
Yeah.
And I think while we have more of a buffet, our diet is worse.
Ah, you better say that. That is so
Let
true.
me tell you something. We got so many options that we ain't eating, and we ain't eating right.
Yeah. Now see, Shawn is dropping jewels. He said we got so many options that we are not eating. That is Shawn.
I came out there in my drawers, baby, but I had my brain working the whole time, so I was using it.
That's no, that's no,
Get
but
y'all out of here.
that's so true that I think just in relationships, it seems like there's so much going on. But when you talk about the real and getting somebody that really wants to focus on you and care about you and be there for you and not care about the relationship goals, but really being there, it's not
Yes.
that much. Like it feels like a lot, but then when you get down to reality, it really isn't. And I think that's what I've learned from just being. I talk about celebrity relationships to do a segment on that. All that stuff is not real. What's real is, like you said, in the house, you and that person without all that other stuff, and you really want to be there and they really want to be there.
Yes.
So Shawn, I'm believing that you're going to find an amazing love. I always think that people that wait are smart because they don't have some of the baggage some of the rest of us have to pull in. But I think that you've done the work, and she's on her way. She just wasn't on the show. She
I
just was.
appreciate you saying that because I have clients, like I'm sort of like I won't say a bootleg hitch, but I have had clients where I've helped out in that manner. And
Yeah.
I talk about these things with fellas all the time. And in the book that I've written, it's really important that you make decisions that feel right for you, but make sure you've done the work before you start eliminating and blaming other people why things don't work.
Yeah.
And I've done the work and I understand what's going on.
Absolutely. Well, can you tell us where we can find the book? Do you have a copy of it? Can you share?
Funny you should ask.
I was hoping you did. There you go. Put it up there on the screen there. Nice.
The book is Broke. There's a subtitle. It's Broke with a period, lowercase, and notice the male symbol there for O.
Yeah.
Novel
Nice.
on men trying to get it together. But you look up Broke and J. Shawn Durham, you'll see my book. And it's the story of these four men who get together, led by a very bitter, I'll be frank about it, a very bitter man who's had a rough go of it with his baby mama. And because they argue about the most trivial things, he's like had enough with women, and he starts a movement of fellas going against and picketing ladies' nights and patronizing women and getting small claims courts rulings to get money back from bad dates they've accrued. It
sounds like a Kevin Samuels type. It sounds like
no. But listen, that's the premise. It's sort of Saturday Night Live premise, but it turns Judd Apatow. It's totally gonna fail. But in this process, these men who have come together for different reasons, one come to support his friend, although he thinks his friend is on some crap. And that man is like trying to take care of some things at home that are really serious. And I'm talking about not like with his wife or girlfriend. I'm talking about with his mother and his brother, things like that. Real man, old school stuff. One guy, he has a problem getting his professional life on track, but he's smart as a whip. And another fella uses his brawn all the time instead of his brains, if he has any. And so the question is, are these guys broke, men who can't afford anything, or are they broken and need to be fixed? And for men in the 21st century trying to define themselves amidst women who don't need them for certain things, how do you feel like a man moving forward? And how do you fix yourself? Because if you're not happy with yourself, bro, you're not going to be able to love or support anyone. And that's what this book, which is a novel, is about. And it's on Amazon right now. Y'all just missed. Dang,
Man,
missed
you
the
know,
free
I
promotion.
wish you would come on, and I wish I had the copy of the book before you came, but because we didn't get a chance to see that you had done all this.
I couldn't tell you. I couldn't like say, "Hey, yo, Crystal, I'm about to get eliminated." So,
Crystal,
tell
I'm
you that.
gonna see you the book so we can talk about it.
So,
But no,
I
yes, so
finish the
you
book
guys,
either way, and you drop some pearls, and we talk about it and chop it up. And
yeah, well, I definitely will have you come back because I interviewed the cast of the brothers no, not brothers, Johnson.
yeah.
And if
The
you
Bounty
guys
Show.
are watching this channel, you can actually go back and see that interview. It is a powerful interview. And I think, sometimes we like these interviews because they talk about relationships and stuff, but powerful interview with 4 guys. The show talks about some of the things that are in your book. And I want to ask you really quickly before I let you go.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the things that one of the main characters brought up is that, like I said, as a woman, I know when I hear, I want a bad chick, I want a boss chick, I want this. It feels like as a woman, you have to be professional, you have to be nurturing, you have to look a certain way, you have to be flawless in the appearance. It's overwhelming. And we had a really good conversation about the fact that men often feel if they don't have finances, they have no value. And that has got to do something to a man, especially a young man, but a man of any age. We all go through ups and downs. You lose your job, your value is associated with what you bring to the table financially. So I want to ask you, can you kind of speak to, because we don't always hear from men's hearts. Like we hear from behind the bravado, but to hear a man say, I kind of started to believe that if I didn't have a certain amount of money, I wasn't worth anything and I didn't have any value. That's hurtful for me to hear as a mother of a son. I don't want my son to feel that way. I don't want my husband to feel that way. So I think we need to hear your heart on that. How do men feel knowing that their value is often connected to what's in the bank?
You know what's so fascinating? I'm going to take the last part of what you said first. Women with sons are like, them ain't nothing. Women with sons are like, don't you fall for blah, blah, blah. And don't you just give them women what they say you need. It's very fascinating. I was raised with my mother and my father. So when it comes to finances, first of all, a man needs to find his comfort level. You need to find your comfort lane. You should be able to a man feels like a man if he's able to provide and give security to his woman and or children. But that does not mean that's a mansion 52 miles over here. That does not mean that you wear the most expensive things. It just means as a man, you feel good about being able to bring home the bacon as needed and as required to keep the household going and functioning. Chris Rock says, the lights, that's what daddy does.
Yeah.
Daddy wants is the big piece of chicken. So when you talk about men feeling like bad about these things, I think that's because they're looking in the wrong places. Only because it's a terrible cycle, right? There's some women who keep building up these things as that's all that they're about. And black women are more loved. I'm going to speak to black women, although I'm sure there's not just black women watching this. Black women are more loved than you realize. Because men still, while they gripe and complain about these women talking about being a boss and being that and this and that, they still bust their ass trying to at least present an image of what you say you want. Now, the thing that frustrates guys is that we now live in an age and era where women dress up on Facebook and try to get likes from their girlfriends, and they don't ask their men at all whether that looks good or not. does my opinion matter at all? You decided to wear these drapes And yeah, you're gonna put it out there. That's sidetracking, but
No. But I hear you. But trust me, I will say this because we have this conversation a lot. Also, men say that, but I guarantee you, if I go to a page of a woman on Instagram, there are a lot of male likes on certain pictures for certain things.
because
And
you're what we want. Even if we complain about you,
Mhm.
and I think that's the other thing too. Men and women, particularly within the minorities and our specific minority, I take it you're African American. Black people have to take down these barriers that we've built up because of society. We are consuming so many things that are creating these barriers. And so, like, we like each other. So let's try to find ways to say, I support that sister and I support that brother, instead of finding ways to keep speaking negativity, because negativity that's spoken makes the air noxious.
Absolutely.
And we are breathing toxic fumes of negativity that prevents us from seeing each other for who we are. So people can talk about me or any of my fellows or friends or whatever, but I hang out with confident men or men who want to be confident. And you must be, fellas, I'm going to talk to you. You must be, is this the y-axis? You must be the y-axis. Because sometimes these ladies will be just like that. And you must always be consistent.
Right.
And that's what I say to any fellas who feel that way. I wrote an article when I was still a journalist for a magazine back in 2005. And it was something about black men and black women. And I talked to Lee Willis down at the University of Georgia, a psychologist who studied these things. There's PTSD going on amongst black men. That was a generation and a half ago I wrote that article. You mean to tell me that doesn't exist now?
Yeah.
What are we chasing? And so when it comes to that, ladies, I know some of these bros ain't nothing, but on a communal level, understand that black men are behind the 8 ball, because at least black women are given an audience.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate it. I definitely want to have you come back. I'm going to get the book. I'm going to get the book. You guys get the book. Go. It's Shawn Durham, and the title is Broke on Amazon. It should be on Kindle and all that if it's on Amazon. So I'm going to schedule. I'll reach out to you. I'll schedule a time to have you come back and bring some other guys, and we'll break down some stuff, because the women really appreciate these honest conversations. And I'm glad we got a chance to hear from you and see this side of you, and not just what we saw on Ready to Love. So I thank you for coming on and being.
Crystal, I had jokes and nobody was laughing. And oh, by the way, that one lead balloon joke, that was an absolute edit. Can I get an amen? Was to the fact when everyone found out that Sabrina and I had only dated a day before our actual friends. So that was some stuff I can't control. I'm funny at whatever. But yeah.
Well, you redeemed yourself. You redeemed yourself tonight. So we see the real. I appreciate it. And like I said, I definitely want you to come back. People are saying they're going to buy a book or two. Put the book up again so we can see the cover.
Yes.
So people can
it's
make sure.
That's Shattered Glass. That's actually me as your model. But it's Broke. Subtitle, a novel of men trying to get it together. It's available on Amazon and soon on my website, JSD Inc. But follow me on Instagram, and I got a lot of events coming up. Thank you. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed the interview. I really enjoyed talking to you. And like I said, I definitely want to have you come back soon, and I'll reach out about that.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate the opportunity. Everyone stay safe, all right?
All right. Thanks a lot. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much. I think from the comments I've been watching, try not to laugh. I think everybody enjoyed Shawn's commentary. Definitely enjoyed hearing what he had to say, especially at the end, just about black men and black women. And there's so much more love there than we often realize. What a great perspective. So we'll definitely have to have him come back. I appreciate you guys, as always, for hanging out with me. We have some more holiday specials coming up. And of course, we're staying down with Ready to Love to see who's going to be going home next. What do you guys think? Chime in, leave me your comments, and I will see you guys on Friday when we recap the upcoming episode of Ready to Love. I love you all for watching, and I will see you Friday right here at 9 o'clock. Bye-bye.